Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Sydney, Australia. We are here just a few minutes from the two semifinals of the FIBA Women's Basketball World Cup 2022. Before we jump into the action of today, we are here joined today by an international basketball legend and an advocate for the game, Mr. Pau Gasol. Pau, welcome to Sydney.
Thank you.
A pleasure to have you here with us today. The list of your accomplishments these last 20 years with the Spanish national team is very long. Just to name a few, you are a world champion, you are the MVP of the 2006 edition of the Men's World Cup, you are a three-time Olympic medalist, three-time Eurobasket champion, and also MVP of the competition, without mentioning also back-to-back NBA champion with the Lakers. Obviously, you know how hard it is to compete and to win, and in particular, how hard it is to win a World Cup. After seeing what happened here on the court, what strikes you the most?
What strikes me the most? Thank you for the question. Well, it's it's hard to say, pinpoint what struck me the most in this championship. I think what I like to see is how the level of play that has been shown during this championship, the many stories. I think that like every championship, if you pay close attention, there's always so many inspiring and exceptional stories that come out. I'm excited to see the semifinals today. We clearly see that the favorite continues to be the favorite and is playing at a high level once again. So the USA team is doing what they've known to do, but at the same time, we have great teams that are playing great basketball. They're in the semifinals for a reason. They're not gonna just roll over. Starting with Canada, I see that they have very good chemistry. Watching their game yesterday, so it's going to be a fun one. I'm glad that they're led by also a Spanish coach, which is something that I like to point out as well. And then the second semifinal is going to be great. I love to see China's growth. I love to see how Australia is just fighting and competing and doing something really meaningful here in front of their home crowd. So that's going to be also a very fun, I think, special game and very exciting to watch. So again, that's just to me what's been truly remarkable this championship. And I'm just happy to be here, happy to be an ambassador for the World Cups, starting with the Women's World Cup here in Sydney.
Great. So you already mentioned it, ambassador for the Women's World Cup. What does this mean to you?
Well, I think to me it means a lot. Just like I've taken a few ambassador roles after my playing career with different organizations. I think with FIBA it means a lot because of what you've shared. Some of the successes. There are many other also championships that we fell short, but we just continue to work hard to put ourselves in a position to have a chance to win and make our country proud. And build something beyond that, because I feel and it's shown. It's made our country very proud this summer, winning the Euro Championship, where everybody's talking about a generational change. There's going to be a period of time where Spain is going to struggle, and all of a sudden Spain is a European champion once again. Just couldn't be more proud, because you cannot help but feel like you're somehow part of it and having done something to contribute to that team and those players. So it's great. So again, for me to be here and support the game, support the growth also of women's basketball, women's sports. To me, it's very meaningful. Also trying to follow their legacy and I think the mission of Kobe and Gigi and the Bryant family as well. That's something also to me personally very meaningful. So for all that and other reasons that I love the sport, obviously I have a daughter as well, and I want my daughter to have the same opportunities in the same path that any boy would have, and I just love the game. I love to see the growth, but I think with more support, with more infrastructure, with more resources as they starting to come in, things are just going to continue to get better, and the fans are going to enjoy more and more.
Thank you very much. We're ready to open the floor for a few questions from the media. First, we'll take questions in the room. We also have some questions online. We can start. First question.
Hi, Pau. TK from FIBA here. Obviously, you mentioned that, sorry, you and Kobe share a lot of interests, and obviously women's basketball is a large part of that, which you were both very passionate about and committed to support. What kind of brought you together in this support of women's basketball, and how has it been just supporting it through all of these years?
Well, Kobe's, I think having a daughter like Gigi that loved the game, that played the game, that he could see himself really in her, and then he started coaching their team and going to their practices. I was able to go to one of their practices as well, and try to teach and coach those girls in that team. It's also kind of inspired me to get more involved and to provide more opportunities and a path forward, and also understanding that for a lot of girls they just couldn't see that path. It wasn't the same path as for boys or men. So that as we've finally understood, it's like, this is not right. We got to do something about it, and we have to change this. So that's just been also a big part of why I've been a part of it. I'm a big believer that things should be fair, things should make sense, and things should be right. So again, I love that how the direction that things are going, the progress that has been made. I think there's a lot more that we could continue to do and we'll do, and that's why I don't know. Kobe and I had that in common, just like other things. I think intellectually we connected from the very first day that besides what we could do, obviously he wanted to win at all costs. He was an incredible competitor. He made me a better player because he was always on that mindset of winning and doing whatever it took. And the work ethic was incredible, and the whole Mamba mentality, which he has affected and influenced so many athletes and people across the world. So I'm just trying to a certain degree, as his younger brother, try to continue what he started and continue his legacy, and do what I can.
Hi, Paul. Thomas from FIBA.com. As someone who had a long and successful career, and knowing how much it takes to have a long career, how inspirational has been Lauren Jackson's comeback and success on the court so far in this World Cup?
I think it's great. I think at the end of the day, people have a tendency to put limits to what we can do or what we should do. I think it's always great to have reminders that things that that we think are not doable, they're not accomplishable, that there actually are, and there are examples of athletes or people in other fields that remind us that I can play until I'm 41, I can play until I'm 45, I can play for as long as yes, that's going to take some effort. That's not just going to happen. It's going to take some work. It's not easy, and that's why it's hard to picture. But if we really want to do something and we're willing to put in the work and do the sacrifices that are necessary, it is doable. So it's great. It's a great story. Obviously, I'm glad that it's not. Also, in your career, just like in life, you have to adjust. And it's not easy for a player. I'd love to hear more from her about this. That has been such a dominant player, Hall of Famer, MVP, gold medalist, and so forth. To now, play a different role, and that's something that's part of the beauty. You have to adjust. You have to embrace the different stages of your life, understanding that sometimes you're not in the front seat anymore. Now you're going to be in the back seat or the passenger seat, and that role is just as important for your team to win. And it's an inspiration to the younger players too. So again, I think stories like that are necessary, are not just for sports, but for society as well.
Thank you. Yes, Roy.
G'day, pal. Roy Ward from The Age here in Australia.
Hi.
In the women's game at the moment at the World Cup, USA has been very dominant for a long time.
Yes.
In your career, in the men's level, Spain, Australia, Argentina had to find a way to win.
Mm-hmm.
What's your advice for the national teams trying to get up to USA's level and get ahead? And just further on Lauren Jackson, she's 41, you're only 42. You sure you haven't got another World Cup in you?
Yeah. I mean, I could if I wanted to, maybe. No, you know what? I played at 41 in Tokyo, and that was very meaningful because I think when you're able to do something that late in your career, you appreciate it and you embrace it differently. It's just like I think probably in life, right? When you're like 80, 90 years old, that cup of coffee, that glass of wine, that whatever it is, that conversation, that time with your children, with your grandchildren, it's just so much more meaningful because you don't have that much more left. So everything is about perspective, right? But that being said, I was, I had an incredible, career that I'm proud of. I had to fought really hard and work hard to be able to get back on the court after my injuries on my foot, surgeries and so forth. So I was to me, that was a great reward to finish in Tokyo. So I don't want to push my luck any longer and hurt myself more than I have already. So, but yeah, it's been great. I think the point here also of kind of reducing that gap between the U.S. teams and players is to continue to grow the game globally, continue to have more. I think one of the changes in the men's side was the growth of NBA players internationally playing in the NBA, competing against those players, and knowing that it's, we can go head to head and I can beat you. You're not. I'm not that far from you, and now it's just obviously the one of the signs of it is the last 4 MVPs of the NBA have been international players, right? Have been 2 with Jokic and 2 with Giannis. So it's it's great. It's great for the game, and then you see that gap reduce. So I think the more probably the W or international leagues grow, and more international players are in the WNBA playing against those American players and going head to head and getting better because they're playing against the best every other night. That makes your national teams better, right? And you see it in certain cases, in certain national teams that are be able to compete better against the U.S. So I think that's going to be one of the key factors.
There's one question in the back, and then
Hi, Paul from FIBA. Welcome to Sydney, and a big
you.
thank you for being an ambassador for the women's game.
Thank you.
My question is about male athletes and male basketball players.
Sure.
It's fantastic having an ambassador like yourself, but do you think this is also an opportunity that we can build a movement where more of the top stars kind of promote the women's game and we are together as a one sport instead of a women's and men's separated?
Yeah. I think you're seeing that more and more. I think you're seeing more men or male players supporting the women's game and making it one sport and not 2 different sports, and not really creating or talking about this separation, and it's just so I think that's happening more and more, and I would like it to continue to be that way, because at the end of the day, we're brothers and sisters. We're playing the game that we love, and we should support each other. And I think in a way it's been that way, but it's always been like big brother, little sister. So now we just kind of try to make it brothers and sisters without that distinction. So, and again, it's happening in the U.S. quite a bit with the WNBA. A lot of NBA players are going to the games and supporting and cheering and enjoying the game, and I think that's a good sign.
We have one more question here in the front, right here, the lady with the black T-shirt. Thank you.
Hi, Pau. Paul kind of stole my question there, but
You have another one?
I was wondering what your message would be to other successful male athletes out there about what they could do to promote women's sport and basketball in particular.
What my message will be, I think at the end of the day, it's maybe understanding that we play in the same sport, that it's all about promoting sports, boys and girls, and the effect that has on the younger generations. And the message that when you play a sport at a high level and you happen to play a sport that it's followed, whether you like it or not, you're hurt. Your kids are looking up to you. You become some sort of a role model. And that's something that comes with, the position or the pie. You can't pick and choose. I'm just going to take the good things. I'm just going to leave the bad things or the things that I don't like here. I think you have to embrace the opportunity and the responsibility that it comes with your position, no matter what it is. And I think I would, encourage all of them to send the right message. To go out of their way to do that as well, and that would be a good start, I think, to get involved. And I think you see that you see that in the U.S. more, and you see it to some extent elsewhere, but maybe a little less. So, like always, like in many other things, the U.S. always seems to set the tone, and then everything kind of starts happening in the rest of the world. But yeah, that's. I think there's a good trend. There's a good line happening. We have to make sure that we take advantage of this and we create this momentum so it continues to grow in the right direction. You're welcome.
Thank you, Pau. Do we have any other questions in the room? If it's not the case, then maybe we can give the floor to Luis Rodriguez, and I know he's dying to ask a question in Spanish, but I will kindly ask you to ask your question in English, please.
Okay. Luis Rodriguez del podcast Desde la Línea, Pau. Hi. First,
Hola.
Sorry, I'm very nervous, I'm very nervous, soy tu fan. Let me ask you in Spanish, in English, sorry. How important it was to receive the ambassador of the FIBA Women's Cup, since your best friend Kobe was working with the women basketball. And the most important, we want to see Spain with the Euro Cup.
So now in Spanish, you're gonna
Probably better.
and then I'll answer, I guess, in both if we have time. I don't know. So just to make sure
Luis,
I get the question right.
Yeah. Luis, you ask your question in Spanish. Pau will reply in English.
Okay, thank you. ¿Qué tan importante, primero que todo, Paul, gracias de verdad, por los años del baloncesto, soy súper fan tuyo.
A ti, gracias.
¿Verdad? Gracias. ¿Qué tan importante fue recibir ser el embajador del FIBA Women's World Cup? Y que verdad que tan importante fue, ya que tu mejor amigo Kobe estaba trabajando con el baloncesto femenino, y qué tan importante fue ver ganar a España la Eurocopa.
Perfecto, gracias. All right, so no, it was very, when I started talking to Andreas about a potential relationship and ambassadorship with FIBA, it was very important and very meaningful that we started also talking about not just the men's side, but the women's side as well, and to support the sport in its complete totality. So he said, well, the Women's World Cup, it's in Sydney this September, and we basically we agreed this summer on this as well. So I was like, it's very meaningful for me to be able to be an ambassador of the game, to support women's sports, to support women's basketball, to be here in Sydney in the World Cup, and obviously the relationship and with Kobe and what he was doing and what he was working on. And I have a pretty good certainty and sense that he would be here if he was with us. So again, that's why it was very meaningful for me. And my wife is here. Our 2-year-old daughter is here. So we as a family, we're here supporting it. It's not just me. And yeah, thank you for the congratulations on the Eurobasket. We're, as I was saying earlier, super proud of our team, of our country. The message, I think, that we're able to send to the world, to the basketball community, to the world sports, of how working together, competing with the right mindset, with the right chemistry, what it does and the results that you can achieve and you can accomplish. So obviously I couldn't be more proud of those guys, of our coaches, the federation, and I think our country was very, very proud of our team.
We have one more question in the room.
Hi, TK from FIBA again. I know that you mentioned that you wanted to move forward in supporting this to be one sport, just basketball in general, not women's, not men's, but still there are some people that view it that way. And I just wanted to ask you, what is an underrated part of women's basketball right now that you think some people are overlooking and you kind of want to emphasize them to look at and maybe focus on and maybe turn them into huge fans of the women's basketball?
I think the stories, to me, it all comes down to, stories, personal stories, human stories, the sacrifices that have to be made, the love for the game, the passion that women play with, and I think to me there's a lot there that would attract interest of people or fans that haven't watched much women's basketball. So I think to me there's also a beauty of what I like in basketball is when the ball moves, when it's kind of all together playing the same sport. That's why I haven't loved the game or the shift that the NBA game has taken as far as quicker shots into the shot clock, outside shots, the ball not really moving a whole lot, not changing sides of the floor, not having a good balance from inside out. I haven't loved that part of the evolution or where the game has been, more like the small ball type of game, a little fast, a little too fast for my taste. So women's basketball, I think you still see a lot more of that team game, moving the ball, having more balance. That's something that I enjoy watching as a basketball fan. And that's something that I think the true basketball fan really enjoys as well. I know that the individual talent is great. We love to see players that can shoot from half court, like they're shooting from under the basket. That's, it's amazing, it's great, but it takes a little bit away from the essence of the game.
Thank you very much. We have one last question.
Hello again.
Hi there.
I just want to ask you about your relationship with Sabrina Ionescu. Obviously, that's something that Kobe had as well.
Right.
How important is it for you to continue that relationship with her now that Kobe isn't with us anymore, but also to have her here in the World Cup team as a debutante? and how exciting it is moving forward with her in that team now that the likes of Sue Bird
Mhm.
are tied.
Well, my relationship with Sabrina and our friendship comes from Kobe, and the relationship and the friendship that they had. It's interesting how a lot of emotional, personal feelings or relationship that we had with Kobe, that love and appreciation for him kind of shifted to the people around. And so Sabrina has become my little sister, you know, and her brother, and we talk often, and you know, it's been great to see her grow. And from her first, I remember for her first WNBA game in the bubble, that I was watching her, and unfortunately it hurts. It's hard because she sprained her ankle. It's like you see someone that you care about and you know personally, like it was, you know, like obviously and you feel that pain. It was like, oh geez, and she's been dealing with that ankle for some time. But now this season finally you see her pull through and being able to play her game and making a USA team. And I was talking to her when she was in training camp, and she wasn't quite sure that if she was going to, at the end, make the team. It was like, you know, you're going to make it, you're going to make it. You know, just trying to share that confidence and determination that Kobe would have shared with her in a way. So I'm excited for her. I think she's a very unique talent. I think she's a great girl. I think she has a lot ahead of her. And, you know, I'm going to try to be there for her along the way to help her navigate whatever she needs help with.
Pau, thank you very much. Thank you for your time, your words, for the experience you shared with us today. Enjoy the World Cup. Enjoy Sydney.
I know.
And enjoy the semis, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining.